You went against direct orders, Ms. Lawson. You're dismissed. The words landed like gunfire, sharp, final, unforgiving. Clara stood motionless, her stethoscope still draped around her neck like a badge she'd forgotten to remove. The administrator didn't look up. Security hovered near the door, waiting for her to react. She didn't. She just stared down at the badge they had already deactivated. 5 years gone in 5 minutes. Before we move further into this story, let us know in the comments where you're watching from. We'd love to hear. Let's dive in. 2 nights ago, she had made a choice. The trauma bay had been chaos, sirens wailing, medics screaming, stretchers rolling in a blur of blood and combat boots. Classified military casualties, the kind of night that silenced everyone, even the seasoned. SEALs had been extracted from a Black Ops mission gone wrong. Clara wasn't supposed to touch them. Protocol said only specially cleared military staff were allowed near. But as she passed bed 7, she saw a young soldier convulsing, choking, crashing. There was no attending physician, no orders. Just a dying man and a nurse who knew exactly what to do. She moved without permission, cleared his airway, administered meds, stabilized his vitals. She did what no one else had the nerve to do, and now she was being punished for it. They told her she was lucky not to be prosecuted, that she'd breached national security. That emotion had clouded her judgment, but they didn't know why she had acted so fast. 6 years ago, Clara's brother, also a SEAL, died in a base hospital waiting for the right person to show up. She had promised herself she would never let someone else's brother die while she stood still. She packed her things that night, too numb to cry. The walls of her tiny apartment never felt colder. She still wore her scrubs the next morning, unsure of what came next. And that's when the sound of tires on gravel snapped her head toward the window. A black SUV rolled up outside her house. Then another, and another. By the time she stepped outside, the street was lined with military-grade vehicles and a wall of men in uniform. 25 Navy SEALs stood at attention on her front lawn. She froze. One of them stepped forward, stern but respectful. "Are you Nurse Clara Lawson?" She nodded slowly, pulse racing. He saluted. "We heard what happened. You got fired for saving one of us." Before she could speak, the soldier from bed 7 stepped out from the final vehicle, his arm still bandaged, his gait unsteady, but very much alive. He looked her dead in the eyes. "I remember your voice," he said. "You called me brother. I don't know why." Her voice broke. "Because I couldn't save mine." He nodded, reached into his jacket, and handed her a small silver pin. "This belonged to my unit leader. He told me to give it to someone who went to war without ever carrying a weapon. That's you." She stood speechless as the other SEALs each removed their caps in unison. It wasn't ceremony, it was gratitude. Then the man who first saluted her spoke again. "We called your hospital, said we'd pull every contract, every donation, and every endorsement unless they reinstated you. You're back on staff. Effective immediately." She covered her mouth with one hand, stunned. "Why would you do this?" He stepped closer. "Because when everyone else followed the rules, you followed your heart. That saved our brother. And we never forget the people who save our own." That evening, Clara returned to the hospital, not as a disgraced nurse, but as someone escorted by 25 of the military's most respected warriors. Staff stared, some whispered. The administrator who fired her turned ghost white. No one said a word. They didn't need to. Clara's presence said it all. From that day forward, the rules didn't intimidate her. The protocols didn't paralyze her. Because now she knew. Doing what's right doesn't always mean doing what's written. Sometimes saving a life means risking your own reputation. And when she passed bed 7 again during another shift weeks later, she paused. Not from fear, but from pride. Some people save lives quietly, and sometimes the people you saved show up when no one else does. If this story touched you, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and let us know how you feel in the comments.